Hello, people of the chat.
Hello, people in the chat.
Hello, people in the chat.
Verbally here.
We are here and we're verbal.
We're verbal and
welcome
online.
in, everybody. We're actually pretty much on time tonight, which is unheard of.
Yeah, we're breaking tradition.
We're getting more professional. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, what's that all about, you know?
I don't know. Oh, my God, it is warm, though.
Yeah, I've had the windows open down here and the doors opened up till just now, just to try and keep it cooler. It is, it is certainly warmer than we're used to here.
There we go. I just tagged the gold here. Make sure that people know.
I already did message them about 20 minutes ago.
You didn't tag.
I did, in the actual clubhouse.
There we go.
At gold.
I have the message.
Do we need to have this conversation? Do we need to have this?
Because I know what I did. Hang on, I'm looking at it.
Do you want to look? You didn't tag.
So what does the tag do if you put it in there anyway?
It alerts everybody.
Clubhouse, Discord, at gold. We'll go live shortly on Riverside.
Okay, well, on the Riverside.
There we go.
Thank you kindly.
I checked the Riverside. The invite links. That's the thing.
Yeah, I did say I'll be sending it in the invites.
Well, we're here on the same night that we normally record on, so I'm sure people have it in their calendars as well. They don't need to
we get in the habit
them.
of starting late.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only thing.
But I will not be told I'm not doing something when I actually.
Well, from where I was looking, where the link was, I was right.
Thank you, Mark. We've got to stick together about these young'uns.
These young'uns, yes, absolutely. These young'uns. Milo looks at us like, you old uns.
You old goats.
We are.
Ooh, hello. Steady on. Don't pick on our rural locations, please, Milo.
Soundboard works, I assume.
Soundboard works. Actually, it's funny. I'm looking at a picture of Skidoo as we're talking. I wonder what we're going to be talking about later.
Oh,
I have that one as well.
Yeah.
I realised a couple of weeks ago when I said that they've obviously got to throw more than Bidoof to attract people. What I meant to say was Skidoo, which is a funny thing. I thought, I think I said Bidoof, and I listened back to it. I did say Bidoof. That doesn't make any sense.
This week on Incensed podcast, Milo contemplates leaving Ealing, then reconsiders, then contemplates again. Mark gushes about a seal, and I mix things up. Welcome back to Incensed podcast. This is episode 181. I'm Ian Waterfall, and with me, as always, we have Masterful27 and the man who lives on 7 Pokestops, Pogo Milo UKYT.
It's written in white and green.
How you doing? You've just seen that we can add an extra line on our intros.
I need to change mine to the Seal Father by all accounts, Ian. But anyway.
Well, we know you like blowing bubbles.
Careful, Vasa. I didn't see that as an attraction at GoFest.
No, I'm certainly not a West Ham fan, Ian. Behave.
Do they blow bubbles?
They do. Forever blowing bubbles.
I think that's a football reference, Milo.
That's what?
I think that's a football reference, Milo. Yeah, that thing that you do with your feet.
Is it a massage?
This week, Milo gets a pedicure.
Pedicure, I'll take that. Pedicure just happening underneath.
You know some people like feet, mate. You know some people like feet, mentioning no names.
Let's not go down that route. Maybe we'll talk about my contemplation, and there wasn't a backtracking on this.
Well, it has, because it's been talked about for the last few weeks.
Technically the last few years, but
yes.
we'll get onto that in the show, I think.
I think we need to. It's time.
It really is time. But Vasa, back in the driving seat after... When was the last time we actually had a hosted show?
Well, I was thinking about this. It was before Madrid, so it's about 7 or 8 weeks ago when we actually had a full-on hosted show.
Well, good luck, Ian. No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
The reins are firmly in your hands.
It's okay.
It's all on you.
As I said in the intro, I've mixed things up a little bit this week, but we're going to start in the same way we always have done. So, people, before we get going on this week's show, it is time for you too.
Oi, you sleepy sailors. It's time to drop your incense.
I love that new one. And yes, once you dropped your incense, if you get anything of substance during listening to the show, put it on socials, whether that's X, Instagram, or Threads. You can send it to us via Campfire, email, or WhatsApp. And who knows, you might just get featured if you use the hashtag Shiners of the Week.
Clarify the spelling for me.
I certainly will. That is hashtag SHINIESOFTHEWEEK. Now, with the formalities done, it's time for...
Just tell me about you, mate. Just what's going on?
And we're back to the standard frequency of getting to know you questions. The ones where we scratch our heads, ponder, and then try to think what we've not talked about over the last 181 weeks. It's getting tough. But
I can see that.
Well, I had inspiration for this question because I went to see the movie Twisters, which is obviously a loose sequel to the 1996 movie Twister. So the question I had is, if you had to be present during a natural disaster, what natural disaster would you rather be present at? And we will go firstly to, and you'll see I didn't put names here, Whitfield.
That's no pressure.
He always goes Whitfield first. I've noticed that even without names, it's always Whitfield.
Well, I know you've got a tongue-in-cheek one, so I thought let's see what Milo comes out with first.
I have a very perplexed expression right now because when I saw this question, what clue were you handling at the time?
But you pick which one you'd rather be at.
Well, frankly, none. But obviously, we have to have an option.
That isn't an answer. That's not an option.
Technically, it is.
Not acceptable.
You didn't say.
It's not an option.
You didn't say in the show notes, written black and white. You can't.
I'm clarifying the rules now.
And
Yeah,
Milo,
now,
I'm
too late.
backing in as well on this one. So
You two 40 plus.
Milo's natural disaster is I have to drive out of Ealing.
Moving back to
Amazon and Amazon Fresh running out of any of fresh produce isn't a natural disaster.
No, they're not in Ealing anymore.
I've run out of gin.
They're not in Ealing. Oh dear. Natural disaster. And my mind is going all over the place with movies and things like that. And where would you rather place yourself if you had to? I think just for potential spectacularness, like visual before you potentially perish, put me in a volcanic eruption.
That'd be amazing
Why
to
not?
see, wouldn't it?
Because I saw the video of the lightning storm with a volcanic eruption. I can't remember exactly where that was. It's probably Iceland. Good old volcanic activity up there.
Volcanoes are great. The Italian and I went to the Apple store when we was in New York. We actually tested the Vision Pro out. And one of the actual scenes that you go to is literally, it's a full-on 3D immersive environment of an active volcano. And it's amazing. Seriously, that would be something to behold in real life.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've visited way back in the day. I went to Mount Vesuvius. So even going up to one that's not active, obviously, it's still quite a momentous thing. It's this huge geological part of the planet, but being present during an eruption, even if you then don't make it. So in the nature of this question, we have to go with that. So yeah, I'll pick a volcanic eruption on my side.
Erupts doesn't mean you're going to get covered in lava and die. You could be like 20
How far
miles
back
away.
can we be?
Exactly.
I have like a tiny volcano. It's just a party popper. we'll make the volcano from Hohentor, Las
oh my
Vegas.
god, the paper mache volcano.
The paper mache one,
I
yeah.
think maybe has been retired.
I'll be present at that natural disaster.
Well, that was meant to go off actually in Vegas and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Then I
put
think
me
last
there.
year in New York it did work.
Yeah, I think it was actually active. That's me. Put me in a volcano.
Milo looks, I thought Milo was going to go down to like the Day After Tomorrow routine. Like Milo looks like a Jake Gyllenhaal type of character, doesn't he? You could see him.
I've been called worse things.
Yeah, he'd be there trying to stop the cold freeze taking over, keep burning his library books in an old cold building with flames, just trying to stay alive till it passed
We don't
over.
talk about burning books.
Oh yeah, sorry. Burning newspapers. A hard book will probably give you a better chance.
I burn my
unfortunately,
hardbacks, thank you.
let me burn the encyclopedia. I'll do A through to E and maybe throw in a Z and an X because no one ever looks at those letters.
If I burn,
we know they look at Z.
the O
We were talking
category,
about it last week.
They always look at S, don't they? But anyway, if I was going to have to be present at a natural disaster, I'd like to feel like I'm ticking something off my bucket list at the same time. So I look at it as multitasking, maybe a little bit proactive, some might say. So I've never been to Japan, and I do talk about going to Japan. It made me think, do you know what? Can I literally kill two birds with one stone? One, travelling to a country I've not been to before, but actually...
Two dying there.
and two dying there. So we live in a pretty rubbish country when it comes to natural disasters. I think like the biggest thing we get is a little bit of rain, which lasts 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, we get hail.
And, hail,
It's
exactly.
not really,
It's really a natural disaster, though.
Depends
Is
if the
it?
golf balls it kind of
No,
is.
they're not in this country though. I remember seeing there was a news thing about an earthquake in Wales, and people go, "Oh my god, my wardrobe shook."
And that's the point I'm getting to. Like, I think I was woken up during the night. I wasn't sure, but I think I heard a noise, and on the news it goes, and in Cardiff, an earthquake measuring 2.6 on the Richter scale went off, and some car alarms went off after it. So for me, I want to go to Japan, and why not go back to 2011 and be on the northwest coast when the biggest tsunami that was triggered by the biggest earthquake, well, it was a 9.0 magnitude earthquake went off. It was very devastating. I think 16,000 people approximately lost their lives in it. And actually, if you want to go up for trumps on natural disasters, it triggered the world's biggest nuclear disaster since Chernobyl in 1986. Now, I love those films where you see the tsunami coming and everyone's like, oh my goodness, I've got to run away from it. I'd like a bit of a head start if I knew it was coming. But I've always thought that it looks a bit too CGI on the movies. I'd like to actually see it in the flesh. So if that was my...
Come on, movie makers, where are the practical effects?
Yeah, I want to feel the water hit me. Tsunami, and that's what if we're going to simplify it, Milo's volcano, I'm tsunami stroke earthquake.
Wow. I like the water, but I don't think I'd want to be hit by a tsunami, so...
Straight to the
I
face.
think you'd have a better chance of surviving a volcanic eruption if you were far enough.
Or a hailstone hitting you on
Or
the
a
foot
hailstone.
in England.
Well, that could literally put my out, couldn't it? That brain damage if a golf ball hailstone hit you.
True.
So my answer, I pretty much gave it away at the beginning of the section. I would love to see tornadoes. I have actually, I can't say I've been lucky enough, but I have actually been present in Florida when hurricanes have hit. And then obviously you go inside and you can't go out. I drove south to the Florida Keys, so totally missed it when I got back. I saw the devastation. A lucky thing from my part, I didn't have to sit inside for 3 days while it happened. But the visual sort of sight, the awe of a tornado, it's something that I think you would have to see real life. And although it is a natural disaster, if you're far enough away, you're fairly safe. So I'm pretty sure that I'm probably not going to die with mine. So, yeah. Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Is this how Incensed ends? We each follow through on one of
Actually,
these natural
Sue's just put in the chat,
disasters.
it's true, actually. They get hurricanes in Jersey. So, and I think Sue
Is that
also
where they
said
build
while
their
we were there
houses?
that they get
Timber?
earthquakes in Jersey as well. So another natural disaster.
Yeah, I always find those films, Sue, and I don't find them funny, actually. I find them quite concerning because, like, you see, like, Hurricane Valley, don't you, and all these places, and you go, if you know there's a chance it's going to get hit every couple of years, what's the incentive to rebuild and start again? Do you know what I mean? It's like you hear the wind chimes go off, do you go, here we go again. Oh, Jesus.
Well, they have storm shelters, don't they?
It's the house, though, isn't it? It's inevitably the balcony gets ripped up, the rocking chair goes flying, and the roof's ripped off, and you go,
Rocking chair.
I've always wanted a convertible living room.
Sorry to anyone that lives in the Midwest.
yes,
Please don't unsubscribe.
and we feel your pain.
No, but again, three, I'm not going to say amazing, but three very different disasters. And it would be interesting to see what people would rather suffer through.
Yeah, I think you have to attach on the poll and say, "Don't worry, you do survive."
Or you do survive in small print, in brackets. Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to go, episode 181 of Incensed podcast, we're going to have to suffer through. Damn you all.
Put that as option 4.
Yeah, do that. No, because that might win.
Yeah, it will win, knowing our audience.
Yeah, it definitely will.
We've had a WhatsApp message. And boys, genuine WhatsApp message. We put a call to action out last week. We had a reply
don't be
literally.
ridiculous.
We had a reply literally 90 minutes before tonight's show. And Newcombs has been on.
Oh my god.
Dear Incensed Podcast, this is Mike, aka Newcombs. I thought I would send you another voice note because I haven't done it in a while, and I've noticed you haven't been having that many. People need to do more voice notes because they're awesome. But I just wanted to say it was amazing to catch up with Ian at Global Go Fest. Yes, we both lost shiny Corsolas. I did actually get traded one from a friend on the second day of Global Go Fest. So I was very, very happy about that.
Ian?
Yeah. I just wanted to say it was awesome to hang out with Mark and Ian in Madrid. Hopefully I can see Milo at some point soon without having to come to Walpole to do a lucky trade. Do I have to come to Walpole to do a lucky trade, Milo?
Yeah,
Are you ever going to leave Walpole again? Let me know. Keep up the good work, lads. You're amazing. Bye.
Oh my God, burning you, Milo.
He's just Mike, a.k.a. Savagems.
Before Milo puts a comment about whether he will leave Walpole ever again, Mike, I've got to say this, and this is really bad timing. When you were in London for Kensington Gardens last week, Milo actually did make an appearance for 2 hours.
Yeah, but you disappeared off.
Yeah, I think you'd gone on the bus, I think you'd gone hop on, hop off, or at least a bus. Yes.
Yeah, so sorry we couldn't link up because I did want to do that lucky trade, but it's lovely to hear your voice on the show. It has been a long time, actually. And yeah, we've been pleading. Please, people, send in voice notes.
I thought you said we've been pleading. Please get Milo out of Ealing. Sorry.
We've been pleading that for 3 years.
Yeah.
It happened earlier this year.
Well, Kensington Gardens is technically still West London. It's 5 minutes, like 5 miles away from you.
That's not what I'm referring to, but we'll move on.
You mean Oxford?
Oxford and Nottingham.
Oh, yeah, that was right at the top of the year, yes. Yeah.
But technically New York isn't Ealing.
Yeah, but you've been there before.
Yeah,
it doesn't count.
Technically, it was only in New York
new
for 3 days.
They call it New York.
Couldn't leave Ealing for too long.
New York twinned with Ealing, was it?
In fact, yeah, New York's like second on your list of places you've been to the most to play it
now. But yeah, thanks for sending that voice note in, Mike. It really is appreciated. Now, I've got another WhatsApp message here. It's quite a long one. I think the guy that tried to send it, his name's Steve, did try to send us a voice message, but must have hit dial because I've got a missed voice call on the WhatsApp phone. So I'll read out a very, very long message he sent out, which I think would have been his voice story. So it goes like this. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure. Before I share my story, a little context. As someone silly enough to be a 3-star shiny collector, my luck hasn't been great recently. Tynamo Community Day brought 84 weather-boosted shinies, including some catches from the Sligo raids after, and only 2 of them were 3-star. Ooh.
With a weather boost, that's rough.
Yeah. More recently, Cyndaquil's Community Day Classic brought 49 shinies, and not a single one was 3-star. In other words, Lady Luck has not been on my side. They are some
I'd say Lady Luck was very much with you. The numbers on those are kind of high.
That's harsh. Anyway, whilst listening to episode 179 last week, yes, that is a great show. If you're not listening to it, go back and check 179, our Roasting on Randall's Island, New York live show. I was checking my nearby for clinks and glaring meows during the Better Together event when I bit the shed, so to speak. Okay, don't understand that phrase. But anyway, a few stops away and up a rather muddy climb to my local park, something rather special was waiting for me. Something that would change my luck forever. It wasn't a clink. It wasn't a glaring meowth. Hell, it wasn't even a lowland Ducklett. It was something far, far more special. A Mesprit. So a wild Mesprit. Nice.
That is very rare.
There on my nearby was a wild Mesprit. And this wasn't the Sinnoh tour. Anyway, doing what any hopefully decent person would do, I immediately slapped the location into my local Discord and began my ascent, all the way wondering whether it was going to despawn by the time I got there. That always happens. I trundled hurriedly up steep stone steps. I cantered over dirty, muddy paths, and even through an old-fashioned kissing gate as I reached my destination. I waited a couple of seconds for the game to refresh, all the while expecting the dreaded message of it fleeing to appear, when, suddenly, it popped up. There in the sleepy little town of Oakhampton in rural England, home of... Get ready again, Mel. Home of the original rural pleasures, the secret is in the silage. One of the rarest wild spawns ever to grace the game. But that wasn't all. This wasn't just any wild Mesprit. As I tapped on it, my jaw hit the floor as I discovered it was a bloody shiny one too.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Ooh.
now
Knowing
you're
it couldn't-
cooking.
Yeah, knowing it couldn't flee, I composed myself only to spend the next 4 days, 3 hours, and 18 minutes spaffing my entire golden raspberry stockpile trying to catch it with a
Yeah.
Pokeball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they like that. They like that.
Nice.
At least it felt like that way too long. When eventually it lost the will to break free and settled into its new red, white, and black home. I'd love to finish this story by saying it was a shundo or even a 3-star, but they were crap. The end. P.S. I'll do my best to attach a video of the catch, but I expect I'll get an enormous bill for the equivalent of cost of 2 remote raid passes for sending the video that long. I'll try anyway. Much love, Stevie, or STVGY. And he actually has, we can put it on the socials, we actually got the video of him catching that.
He sped it up to
mon.
8 times speed and it lasts 12 minutes. So
He managed to find an editor and chopped it down to 44 seconds, which is great
well
because
done.
we couldn't play the whole thing. So, wow, that is some hell of a story, and it's a great one. Shiny Mesprit, wild.
That was like a backstory worthy of How I Met Your Mother, that one.
That was really, really good. Well done, Steve.
Great detail. An amazing catch. Like getting a wild lake trio shiny is just insane.
It spawning in itself is rare enough, let
Yeah.
alone it being a shiny.
Noise.
Yes. Anyway, some say that their natural colour is that of an energy drink, and last week one was on load to CrowdStrike. All we know is it's time to.
Ask the intern.
Mark's looking confused, Milo.
One of them got let go and found a new job.
Who's this? Do I know who these people?
CrowdStrike are the people that stuff the Microsoft up for like half the world. They're people that
Oh,
don't use Macs.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Ignore me. Ignore me.
Funny fact, even at the B&Q that I went to, they couldn't mix the paint because their systems were offline. It's like, well, okay, interesting. You just see the blue screens of death everywhere.
Yeah.
Glorious. But yes,
Glorious.
we're bringing back this section, and actually a blue screen of death might have been possibly quite timely with some of the things we're going to talk about in Ask the Intern. The first one is to do with the Electric Weedle Community Day. So apparently, we know that it was clarified by Niantic support that the 4x catch XP bonus from the Better Together event would overlap through Tynamo Community Day, which is pretty insane. But then LeakDuck posted, and I assume this is APAC being affected, to the best of my knowledge.
First time for that.
Yeah, never happens, ever. 2 things. The 4x catch XP bonus is not correctly applied to the Pokemon Court XP. It is 100 XP when it should be 400, but if you hit a nice, great, or excellent throw with curveballs, that XP calculation was correct. So somehow, if you hit outside of the throw bonus, you didn't get 4x catch XP.
You shouldn't get it. You don't deserve it if you miss that.
If you
don't
miss a
deserve the
nice one on a
bonuses.
Tynamo, what are you doing? But
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
But
yeah.
what's possibly funnier is that the snapshot photo bombs, how many do we get, Marky?
Oh, well, I don't do one because I don't do
So,
them, but apparently it's still 5.
I only did one.
So-
I forgot as well.
I
Don't
did
worry.
all 5. Yeah. yeah.
But for lots of players, apparently they got Smeargle, not Tynamo.
Wearing a Tynamo hat.
Oh, nice.
No, just a normal
In a
Smeargle.
Tynamo onesie, just like a coffin.
Normal Smeargle that cannot
Normal
be shiny.
Smeargle can't be shiny, and I don't know if they got 1 Smeargle or 5 Smeargle, but it was never clarified by Niantic support on their post or anything that this was an issue. It must have fixed at some point.
It got quietly fixed, didn't it? And it just carried on.
Hush, hush,
normal.
hush. While we go over to CrowdStrike.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a little bit to do with the Electric Weedle not giving you the right amount of XP if you didn't hit a proper throw bonus, and you could have got yourself. It's not a sheep; it's a dog, isn't it?
Yes, we went through this on episode. Was it 7, 8?
It was many moons ago. Yes,
Yeah, it is a dog. Hence
French dog,
Beagle, Smear, and Beagle.
fabulous. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving on. That wasn't the only issue, shall we say, that affected Pokemon Go in the last few days. So everybody remembers Global Go Fest, right?
Yeah, sure.
And everybody remembers that we had a remote raid cap lifted for the event. And I suppose a lot of people didn't realise or didn't really think, because they were rare, they weren't guaranteed, that the backgrounds weren't really coming up on remote raids. So Niantic Support posted a little earlier, trainers, we appreciate the feedback and inquiries from social media channels and in-game support regarding the issue of special backgrounds not being obtained from remote raids on day one of Pokemon Go Fest 2024.
Nice.
And then they followed that up a couple of hours later by saying, we're actively investigating and will follow up with details around a make good shortly. Thank you for your support and understanding.
Are they going to give us a box for free in the shop that has 10 backgrounds in it?
You see, I was playing it on day one, and I thought my odds on these backgrounds are pretty awful. But I never saw that communication piece. I didn't even know that was a thing. So you've just read it out then. That's the first time I knew about it. So that's mad.
Yeah, and the funny,
not a surprise.
It's really not a surprise. It's only been 8 years. Come on.
Oh my goodness.
But,
God.
One thing I've got to say is, and it obviously is an issue, it didn't even dawn on me. I just thought, okay, I've not got the background.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'm going to message Niantic Support because I've not got a background on my 30 remote raids.
It's probably the person on 845, isn't it?
I was going to say, I think there are people who've probably done more remote raids over day one of Global Go Fest than you, Ian.
Well,
Gotta be honest.
because I was travelling and playing the event.
To be honest, I don't think I did very many remote raids on day one. What's really weird with that is that on the Friday of that week, when we had the Shiny Circuitry, Buzzball, and Pheromosa in the raids with their raid hours, you could get a catch card from a remote raid, because I got one from Kiwi Steve on a Shiny Circuitry. So it's like, at that point, I think, it's just really rare from a remote raid. But I didn't bother, I didn't even check, because the catch card drop on day one seemed utterly abysmal from my standing. I was like, when you ever get the backdrop, I think, okay, that's unusual.
But seriously, what could the make good be?
I say, what are they going to do?
Us more raid days. They're not going to say, we'll give you another.
Here's 3 Necrozma candy.
Please, Niantic, I implore you, do not give us another Necrozma raid day. Seriously.
I'll take it.
Don't do it.
They won't. They'll give us a box with like 10 pineapples in it or something.
I think they've Necrozma'd enough out of this game now. I think
Necrozma'd the hell out of it.
Everyone's had enough.
I think
of
Billy's
Necrozma.
idea was the best one, where you can earn a background and then decide which mon you place it on.
Yeah. You could treat them a bit like elite TMs.
Yeah,
you know,
that would actually be pretty good, to be honest.
I wouldn't mind if they gave us a box and said, "Here, you have 3, and you could select the 3 that you choose, or 3 backgrounds you pop on to the Pokemon." Why the hell?
It's not going to happen, is it? Like you say, it's going to be a
won't.
box with maybe 3 remote raid passes if we're lucky.
Yeah, after all those remote raids, the person who's done like 849 gets 3 passes
Absolutely.
back. Niantic and their compensation.
Yeah, it's we expect it, don't we? That's the problem now, isn't it? It's like
we do expect it, but when it's working on remote raids on Friday and then Saturday, somebody like goes and pushes a button and it doesn't work. Like you've got to question what's actually going on.
Yeah, which switch was toggled?
That big red button, do not push. Somebody goes, I'll push that button.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I'll push this.
You see why the more complex things that would make the game better don't happen, don't you? When they can't even just put a background on it.
On one day.
One day.
Because by that standing, they must have fixed it for day 2. So they must have realised it was a problem, but they've only told us about it today or yesterday on the 22nd.
A week later.
We listened and we fixed it because we care.
But we didn't tell you until now.
Interesting stuff. Well, let's move into something probably a little bit more entertaining. I used the word little and bit keywords on that. But last Sunday, I'm sure the majority of our listeners were busy trying to work out if it was shiny. We're busy playing Tynamo Community Day. Also annoyed that they didn't get the right XP if they couldn't hit one of the bonus throws on it, which, to be fair, for something so small, it was actually pretty easy to hit.
The circle was a decent-sized circle. It was very easy to get the excellence on. It really was.
I think we just have a little bit of chat about it. Like we do this on most community days, and probably the format we played it varies depending on the Pokemon, but I think it's safe to say, from my perspective, this certainly wasn't going to take up my Sunday afternoon too much. It isn't a Pokemon that I've got any love for, even though it is the electric
What do you mean?
It was your favourite before Swaddle.
Yeah.
I said it was going to happen.
It's your second
favourite. I'm going to be really honest with you. it was just an awful community day. Okay, I love the fact it's a new Pokemon, and that is the only thing it had going for it. It had the worst bonus that went alongside it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do agree with this sort of thought on it. It's great if you've stacked a lot of 12Ks, a lot of 10Ks up, but as soon as you've done it, then you're back to 2s and it just gets stupid, and then you can hatch a few 2s quickly, but it doesn't really offer anything. And there's nothing really exciting about hatching 2-kilometer Pokemon during a lackluster community day.
Yeah.
You mean you don't want to hatch all the fletchlings?
No.
Another community day Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
From my opinion, I played about an hour, did the research, thanks to the gifted ticket. Always say that whenever I get one for a community day. That is my incentive to play. If I was really embraced in the game and really wanted to hit it really hard, yes, I would have done the XP grind on it, because let's face it, you get between 4 and 10 million XP if you played it for 3 hours, and you hit it very, very hard with all the lucky eggs and and all that stuff on it as well. However, it just wasn't an enjoyable community day for me. The weather was lovely. I wanted to be doing other things, but hey, it's a new shiny family. I think the final stage of it is lovely, and I do stick by my words. It's an underrated Pokemon family in the game. However, I'm entitled to my opinion. Please don't make this a classic in 6 years' time, because nobody needs Tynamo 2.0 in their lives. Thank you.
Let's get a petition started. I'll be your first signature on that, Marky. No Tynamo 2.0.
You don't want it for 6 years. You want it in 2, don't you? Let's get
I don't want it ever.
Don't want it in December.
I'll launch myself into a volcano.
Wrap up.
Over that. I don't think it was a horrendous community day from my standing, because I saw quite a few people out and about for this one. Not as many as you might suspect, because the Pokemon is fairly trash, but it brought a new 3-stage shiny family to the game. And I feel like a lot of people after maybe hour number 1 called it a day. And I know for a fact a lot of my local crew decided to go and put some lures down at the pub instead, which can be a way to play if your pub has a Pokestop or 2 on top of it. I didn't really play this one as crazy hardcore because, again, don't need the XP. I think it was really, really cool and a really nice idea. And I hope they do it in the future if there are events that have a community day sandwiched in between them that have bonuses, because typically they always say, I'm afraid this bonus doesn't overlap with community day. And that would have been fun, a bit of Stardust or XP. 4 times catch XP is hysterically better than what we're going to get in August, which we'll talk about later. I'd say the best XP grind you could have had for a community day ever, apart from the 6-hour ones back in the day. And yeah, quarter egg distance, I was only told to put my eggs in incubators by chat. Gladly waltzed on by. I had 10s and 12s, and I'm not sure I could even be bothered. It's a bonus that incentivizes you to burn premium items for very little yield, which is why I say it's the worst bonus in the game. But the only other thing I'll add is appreciate the special research. It was gifted to me and got 1 shiny from it, which was great. And I saw a comment, and it's now stuck in my head forever, is that shiny Electros looks like Poundland Rayquaza. Because it's green.
I like that.
It's quite funny. But at least the shiny gets better as it evolves. But I think
Electros is gorgeous shiny.
It's a very good shiny.
Dark green. It's really nice.
I like it. And to be honest,
I like that comparison. That's very funny.
It did make me chuckle when I saw that. But I think we'll just very much say, see you later. Salute you, Tynamo Shiny. And we won't see you until December, where we probably won't be clicking on you. I've got to be honest. But what about Vasa? How was your electric Weedle hunt? Hunt in the loosest term.
We go through this every sort of 3 months. The quarter egg hatch distance bonus is historically bad. And although I am very hypocritical with eggs, it still didn't do it for me. The overlapping bonus, the 4 times XP from the Better Together event, actually sold this community day for me, because yes, we're all level 50. None of us need the XP, but who knows when we might do. So I actually went out there. I thought, right, I went with the same mission statement as Mark. I thought, right, I'm going to play for an hour, make my video, and then I'm going to be done. And then 2.5 hours later, I think I better head back to the car now, because once you perfect that excellent throw, and it's a really easy excellent throw.
Once you get your iron,
then you're getting like just under 9,400 XP with a lucky egg per catch.
Yeah.
It's crazy XP. I think I got 3+ million in the 2.5 hours. It was just so easy to do. And of course, as you're walking around, not every throw is going to be an excellent throw, but it was just so easy to rack XP up with a star piece down again. The Stardust just looks after itself when you're not being forced to use it for the research. But I also got the research gifted to me. Thank you very much to whoever sent it me. You know who you are. It was an inoffensive community today. And actually, by the end of the community today, I'm actually going to say this, I could actually spot the difference between the normal and the shiny Weedle, actually.
Same.
Although it was subtle, you could actually tell straight away before the sparkles even appeared on the screen.
Yeah, it's that.
Once you got your eye on it.
I think it was Sue. Sue who said it's like an off teal.
Yeah.
Off teal
Depends
colour.
how sunny it is where you were. It was right
Can you
sunny
see
where
your
I
phone
was.
screen?
Really sunny where I was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go around the table with, before we went on our summer hiatus, we used to score events. I'm going to say this is a total middle of the road community today. I'm just going to give it a straight out 6.
Yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with it. Like the bonus for it was awful, in my opinion. You know, the XP wasn't down to community day. That was just down to the events that are overlapping it.
Yeah, yep.
So it wasn't given for that. So, you know, I wasn't impressed with it. I didn't really enjoy it. I'm going to give it a 4.
Ooh, for 4.
Oof.
Because of the fact they decided to have the overlapping bonus as part of the community day, and that's never been done before.
No, normally
to be honest,
it stops during.
It usually stops.
That's why they picked Tynamo, Milo. So a lot of people didn't take full advantage of it.
I think they went, ooh, people aren't interested in Tynamo, so let's have that bonus carry on. But it was itself part of the community day because it was actively added over the top of the 3-hour window. It's a new shiny family. I'd say fairly excited to go and get the new shiny, but then call it a day. I would stick with Ian and possibly give it a 6, but it is very, very boosted by that, you know, massive 4 times catch XP bonus, to be honest.
That's what swung my score. It would have been lower had it not been for that bonus.
I mean, it's all good to have a new shiny 3-stage family, but at the end of the day, it's Tynamo.
Precisely. And Tynamo will be back in December. But moving on.
Yay.
16 points between the 3 of us. So averaged out at 5.33, which is better than my 4. So I think we'll take that as an average. We've asked the community what they thought about that said community day. And thank you to the 6 people that liked the post.
6 whole people. Wow.
6 whole peeps liked our
Thanks
post.
to the 2 people who put a comment.
And then divide that number by 3, and we've got a couple of comments.
We don't even have enough for
so.
one round.
We don't. And that, I think that's all about what people thought about this community today. But let's hear what people had to say.
Yeah. So we've got a video message from Newcomb. So he says he likes to do a video call. He's left us a video message, but I'll read the text above it because that's probably easier to read. Fun com day, even if the mon wasn't great. 21 shinies, and we had a proper laugh. It's all about community for me on these days. Oh, and insert video message.
Go and check the social media post to find out.
Check it out. Well,
that was going to be a drive to get people to go to our X account, but now it's in the bin. And the only other person who put a comment, thank you very much to Artemis Dragon, said, it was really boring. But we all hung out for a spell. It was brutally hot and sticky out, so most ended up leaving way early. Pokemon Go is not a good space for Pokemon such as Electros, because unless you PvP, it's just going to be another space in your storage. And from what I heard, even that Got Baguettes lads kind of side of things, it wasn't good for this community day either. So, thank you for your post, and probably leaving early if it's hot and sticky. I could understand why.
Some people like hot and sticky, matey.
Watch yourself, Vassar.
Well, they do. We was in New York. Anyway, speaking of things that are stuck in your storage, it's time for this week's
Shinies of the week.
So I'll jump in first. The first one we've got this week is from the Incensed Campfire. We like to jump on there for these. And this one was posted today. And it's from So Bad Lol. Hashtag Shinies of the Week. Got a shiny white Flabébé today. Wow, that rhymes. Dead stats, but I get points for a rare one, right? Question mark. And it is literally a 454 CP shiny white Flabébé.
That was very nice.
No, you
Well
don't
done,
get
Ash.
points. No, you don't, Ash. You don't get
There's
points.
no extra points.
And not a
You get points
surprise
for
that
rare
you've got
ones, like
that.
that mess spirit. I think you've got to get points for a rare one, right?
It's Ash, Ian. You can't give him points for that. It's
Half a point.
minus half a percent.
Minus half a percent. Oh my goodness me.
I'm going to annoy Ian with this one, but Dark Parks on our X account, Cold Dark Parks has put, "What's up with the universe? This is my second Shadundo in a week."
Wow.
Wow.
Shock face, eyes looking like a tandem mouse there on the other emoji. Speechless. We did watch a documentary about witches earlier. Did I summon her? Well, you've got a mischievous Shadundo, which is absolutely brilliant. Hashtag Shiners of the Week. Hashtag Shadundos of the Week. Let's start that one off. A lovely 434 Shadundo. Well done.
That is beautiful. What else is also beautiful is the chocolate Alolan Raichu. Tyler Jacko, shiny chocolate bunny from the new timed research. Nice shiny Alolan Raichu from the special research. Very cool catch.
Indeed. I'm also jumping to the Incensed X account, and Mark Bailey posted at Incensed Podcast. Great listen this week, and some random shinies, I think, that were attracted to the ZTD Incense. Pondering emoji. Crazy look after 23 shiny Tynamo and a 100% wild Tynamo today.
Nice.
And he got the shiny Heatmore and the shiny extra small Mankey. So 2 awesome shiners there, Mark. Well done. GG's.
Tiny shiny Mankey.
Right, so we've got one on our Instagram. Don't you worry, we do check our Instagram. It's just they don't put them in a nice order that you can find them quickly. But we have got one from earlier this month from Guy from New York City Pogo.
Ooh.
And a guy from New York City Pogo has put hashtag Shinies of the Week, back-to-back shiny Meltan catches. That is amazing. And then hashtag also long-time listener, first-time caller. Well done. We appreciate you tagging us on Instagram. Can we get a few more people doing that as well, please? But well done, back-to-back shiny Meltans.
That's very
nice.
Very nice Meltan box indeed. And I have to do this because I kind of promised it to him. Nakeem Brown figures the one community day I wasn't taking seriously, and I get the Shundo. As promised, it was immediately level 50 maxed and double moved. And yeah, I was there to bear witness to him getting the Shundo Tynamo, which is now a lovely level 50'd Poundland Rayquaza. Shundo. But yeah, congrats, mate, once again. I did promise that if you max it, it will get on the podcast.
But there's some great shiners of the week, so keep sending them in on our socials. Remember the key ones, X, Instagram. Please send someone on Instagram. That'd be great. As Mark said, we've not had any on Instagram for a while, and Threads, but you can also send them to our campfire as well as our WhatsApp number. And of course, if you really want to go old school, you can send them to our email as well. But we've reached the midpoint of the show. In fact, maybe slightly over. Let's have some news.
Is the news.
And first up in the news, August's Community Day. In fact, Niantic have been doing a little bit of teasing over this one. They asked people to kind of guess before they put the teasers out. They put a teaser out, and then today they finally announced what we all knew was coming, or at least I think most of us knew was coming. So August's Community Day will be Popplio, and that will be a Saturday Community Day on August the 31st. So a long wait on this one, between 2 and 5 p.m. local time. Popplio will feature more frequently in the wild, as we know, and if you evolve Brion into Primarina, you will get the Charge Attack Hydro Cannon.
Not Blast Burn.
Nope, Hydro Cannon. But there will be an attack availability update, so starting with the Community Day, you will also be able to get on Primarina, we'll also be able to get Sparkling Aria as well, which I think is probably more of a PvP-ish move.
Don't look at me, Vasa.
Don't know. Well, you're the PvP one of the three of us.
He's the V in our PP, isn't he? Oh, am I like?
He's the V in our Ps.
Oh, dear.
So we're going to go on to the event bonuses. We're going to get 2 times catch candy. We're going to get 3 times catch XP. Look at them, giving us more XP. This is an interesting one. We get 2 times Candy XL chance. That's whatever that base stat chance is. You're going to get 2 times it, so that's good. We're going to get 3 hour modules. Yes, 0.27% probably. We're going to get 3 hour modules. A 3-hour incense, excluding the daily adventure incense, unless you want to use a bit of raw of time on it. You're going to get a snapshot surprise. In fact, it does say Smeagol in the picture for snapshot surprise. So maybe that's why we get 5 Smeagol's. I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
It's been in there all the time.
It's been there all the time. All the previous ones have been incorrect. We're going to get 1 additional special trade, and we're going to get a 50% trade Stardust cost. And those 2 will be active from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. local time.
Beautiful. Love it when you get 3 special trades in total.
Oh, yeah.
And because this is, of course, a new community day, we will get the 4-star epic raids where you can choose to battle Brion if you fancy it. That won't be shiny, but if you successfully complete one of those raids, you will have a chance of getting Popplio to spawn around that gym location with a radius of 300 meters for another 30 minutes. And they will have the community day shiny rate, which is nice. And the raids will go from 5 p.m. to more likely 8:45 p.m. your local time. They never go to 10 p.m., even though it's what they say. Wrong. That is, of course, unless you live in the cell I'm in, where you don't get the spawns at all. But no matter. The Field Research Task rewards will have the standard mix of Popplio
Where's
encounters.
my tiny violin?
I know.
It's in post.
the only cell. It's the only cell in the world that does the extra special raids.
Actually, I tell you,
at the end of the day.
I'll get through these things and I'll say. So you have the chance of getting some Stardust, some Great Balls, Ultra Balls, and the very rare item of Pineapps, if you so fancy it. Plus, of course, showcases will be running over that whole weekend. They will run from 10 a.m. on the Saturday, the 31st, and they will conclude on Sunday, the 1st, at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
to get your rewards in. So find yourself a nice XXL Popplio.
Well, boys, before we go any further, good news.
What?
Well, is it actually good news?
Probably not.
There's going to be a $1 ticket for the community today, as is pretty standard.
Ian.
That is good news.
So, yeah, usual fare. You'll get your storyline, which hasn't been named yet, to my knowledge. You'll get your free encounters, and you get the goodies that really pay you back for the research ticket. And you can gift it to, I believe, great friends or higher.
The greatest of friends.
Yes.
Greatest of your friends.
But tickets are non-refundable as per the new TOS.
Some other bits in there as well. But anyway.
We all saw Popplio coming. What are our thoughts?
Nice.
It takes off the Gen 7 starters. It's not the most crazy shiny family, but I do like that sort of navy blue to go with the pink. And I think it gets better as it evolves.
It does. It seems to be the kind of the way some of these more newer Pokemons are, that the families get better as they get further along the evolution line.
Because of the fact that we knew that starter Pokemon were getting their common days in the future, I haven't really bothered ever chasing this Pokemon, so it'll be kind of like, first time to go and try and get something good for it, which would be quite nice. And, we always know that the water Pokemon do very well when they get their Hydro Cannon update. So it's funny that it is an XP community day and it has a worse XP bonus than the one before. I do find that mildly amusing, but it'll be really good for anybody who needs that XP. It's probably an easier excellent than Tynamo. Just a shiny chase.
But it's
That'll be really good
starter.
fun.
Let's bear in mind it's a starter, so they're buggers to catch.
It should be a little bit easier, but yes, flashbacks to Lytton Community Day in March.
Yes, indeed. In fact, actually, the last starter community we did in Oxford back in March. Are we going to drag you kicking and screaming out of Ealing for this one?
There will be no screaming. There will be no kicking, because you're probably going to tie me up and bound me. But yes, I think we discussed it a little while ago, and we think it's time to visit you guys for a community day. And I believe
When you say you
G-Town.
guys, you mean me and Mark. You don't mean the listeners.
Yes, you two. Sorry, Mark and Ian. Because shocking revelation, we haven't done a community day at either Ian's place or Mark's place since 2021.
It's been
Not really a surprise, really.
And let's recap. How many have we done in London?
And that's all we've got time for, folks.
So do you think it's got a special charge move, Ian? This one of Popplio for Milo. Is it Hydro Kicking and Screaming?
Hydro Kick and Screaming.
Hydro Kick and Scream.
But I think we've settled on heading up to G-Town.
I think we
G-Town,
did
I
talk
love
about G-Town, and then before finding somewhere near to Mark to do one.
I thought Ian was going to go, like, when we discussed this, go, do you know what? I've got a nice place near G-Town, which is not far from we can all try.
Well,
but no,
you
it's
know,
back
we
to
have
G-Town.
done Nottingham in the past, which is fairly close.
I like G-Town. G-Town's cool.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's time.
There will be no alcoholic beverages this time. We'll go to Starbucks without having
Schmunky
fuel.
shoulder.
Schmunky shoulder.
I want to see the girthy oak again, Ian.
We can definitely
Yes.
go to the girl.
Girthy
Yes.
girl.
Not that that's its name, but that's what we've kind of nicknamed it. But
Yeah.
while we're talking about travelling, let's talk about it. They've announced, and when I say they, I mean Niantic have announced, we've just got through GoFest, we've got some more IRL events that have just come onto the calendar for later in the year. So do you want to have a bit of a talk about what's up and coming, boys?
Always.
So the
Yeah, why
first
not?
first one that is on Niantic's list is the Pokemon Go City Safari, and that's going to be held in Jakarta between
Ooh.
Saturday the 21st of September and Sunday the 22nd of September this year. So not that long, really.
Yeah.
And it's also going to be part of Pikachu's Indonesian journey, which is happening at the same time, basically. Looking at the list of mons for it, I don't think I'm going to be buying a ticket or an airplane ticket to get there for this one.
Are you telling me that a Rangaroo isn't a good pick for you?
No, and Tropis we've had in abundance, well, since the tours. So the only real selling is there's 2 Pikachus up for grabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at some of our local message groups, people that sort of are going and travel to events to who are open to travelling. Their response was brilliant. Yeah, wow. I'm not falling for loads of costume Pikachus on new events. Yeah, I think this is meant for people that live in those places and not necessarily people travelling to them, unless you just want to see a new place and you're content with just catching more Skidoo and a Rangaroo.
A Rangaroo, the best part of that event, definitely.
Yeah, they haven't made it any different, have they, to the previous safari?
It's a city safari, so yeah, I think it's going to be rinse and repeat for these events. Like we talked about last year with the 3 that we had last year, definitely rinse and repeat with a few basic mons in there. But of course, with this one tied in with the Indonesian journey, it kind of adds a little more.
Can we have Eevee tied to some balloons instead now? That'd be
That'd be great.
But it's quite nice to see that the kind of Pikachu's air adventure thing is incorporated into the city safari aspect of it, because that itself I know was a big amount of interest for when it was in other parts of the world. Jeju, I think, was the other part where people went fanatic. You will get the more sort of hardcore live event traveling trainers to go to these sorts of things, people who can, but yeah, it will be more APAC local focused. But as we said, when these city safaris were put in place, that's what they're for.
Yeah, the local events, they're not big events that encourage people to travel around the world to get another Skidoo. But there is an event that will encourage people to travel to South Korea, right, Whitfield?
Safari zones are back after a hiatus of, 2-3 years or something. Incheon, I think, is what it is, and it is based in South Korea. So from Friday, September the 27th to Sunday, September the 29th, at the romantic Songdo Central Park in Incheon, South Korea. This is the second safari zone hosted in South Korea. So that's really cool. Some of the spawns are interesting, I think, because it's a safari zone, not a city safari. So the more rare spawns will be the shiny Unknown Sea, and obviously shiny Skidoo is actually for the first time technically making its appearance in a safari zone.
Yes, and you haven't been in city safari until now.
Indeed, so we know it will be in every event that has Safari in the title. Skidoo is going to be a part of it.
And some of Mark's favourite Pokemon are actually featured and I'm not even joking, some of Mark's favourite Pokemon are actually featured in this Safari zone.
Yeah, Unknown Eye for Incensed is in there as well.
Yeah. Ralts is in there.
Volbeat and Illumise.
And Beldum, which everybody loves a Beldum.
Who doesn't? I did look at the flights to get to that location, sort of thought, let's just throw it out there, why not? If you want maybe a cheaper flight from the UK with a stop off, I think it's in somewhere in China, for ranging from 15 hours to 32 hours, the flights are 500 quid. So no.
What did you say? It was a 15-hour layover?
15 to 32 hours. Take your pick. It would be really cool to go to one of these events, but I just don't think it's possible. But again, I think these events are more tailored for the local kind of, well, not local, but the countries around it that is much more accessible to get to.
Absolutely.
Which, as we've said, is perfectly fine and acceptable, to be honest.
And it is, because, like, you know, I know you get Global Go Fest, everyone can play it wherever they are, but for people who want to travel to Go Fest, these locations seem quite a long way away from those locations.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's a nice sort of balance for people in neighbouring countries, maybe, to try a new format of an event.
And let's face it, if you were to go to Indonesia, it's only a hop, skip, and jump over to South Korea. You could actually make a whole fortnight out of it.
Well, they're back-to-back weekends.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But I'm still holding out hope for something in Europe before the end of the year.
It's actually quite interesting to see. They've posted these, not with the craziest amount of time, but better than they did in the past, where I think the last time we had a South Korea live event, they announced it with
3 weeks.
3 weeks notice. Yeah. So at least we get a bit more heads up. But I do think, very much like we had Barcelona last year in October, I think there could be a European city safari or safari zone happening in the month of October.
Let's keep everything crossed, because it would be nice to have something in Europe. And I think I'm not alone in saying I am partial to a safari zone. They've got events. They're kind of a second tier to Go Fest, but they're always good fun safari zones. Always remember back to Dortmund and especially Liverpool, 2 great ones which we had
Sevilla
here in Europe
as well.
Yeah. And Sevilla, of course. I literally, that escaped me. Yeah, Sevilla, the first time we got heat stroke as a foursome.
Yeah.
And that takes us into Adventure Week, which is running from the 2nd of August right through to, actually, get this, it's actually more than a week for once, the 12th of August.
They still can't work out what a week is then.
They really can't. We've got like 5 days, or in this case, 10 days.
Nice. I'll take the longer event stint, though.
Well, I would too, but wait till you hear what this event's got in, because this is no Adventure Week of old, let me tell you. So, we've talked about the dates. The bonuses we're going to get for this one: 2 times XP for spinning Pokestops. Okay, good start. 5 times XP for spinning Pokestops for the first time. Okay, not
tradition.
Too bad. Yeah. 2 times Hatch XP, and we'll also get an increased chance to encounter shiny Pokemon, Cranidos, Sheldon, Tortuga, Archon, Tyrant, and Amora. So far, so good.
Yeah. I mean,
One thing I will say before we go any further, and sorry if I'm stealing your thunder, do not expect a new fossil this year. Do not expect a new shiny this year.
No, because what we're going to talk about next is the wild encounters, and there is a distinct amount of non-fossil Pokemon in this one. They're not even rock type, some of them. So we're beginning with Diglett.
Yeah, okay, so we move on to, I'll give them this, Omanyte.
Kabuto, an OG fossil.
Yeah, well, the one that you was chasing for the longest time, in its shiny form, I should say, the Dunsparce.
Not a rock type. Roggenrola is a rock type.
A Drillbur, but I kind of feel that anyone that went to Go Fest had their fill of that one.
Yeah, and then Bunnelby.
That is a great rock type Pokemon.
Why is that? What's that doing in there?
I don't know, but this maybe might make up for it. Some trainers might even encounter, okay, get ready for this, boys.
I'm braced.
Yeah.
An Aerodactyl.
Oh, brace for an accident. God almighty. I look at that they're the wild encounters.
They are.
Where are the shiny boosted ones? All of the fossil Pokemon.
Well,
there's literally 2 fossils. That's it.
They're not there. They are not there, and it doesn't say "and more." That's the pool of Pokemon for this event.
That is horrendous.
Do the eggs get any better, Whitfield?
Well, this is where you're going to find the fossils, and this is where it's given me horrible flashbacks to Sustainability Week of this year, where you've got the supposed shiny boost on the event 7-kilometer egg. So remember, you are limited, and there's no boosted gifts during this event. You are limited, very limited to the 7-kilometer egg drops that will include Cranidos, Shieldon, Tortuga, Archon, Tyrant, and Amora. So all the ones that have a shiny boost I will say, bear in mind, the shiny boost is probably going to be like to a 1 in 200. It's not going to be a community day rate or anything like that.
1%. And I must say, again, and I hate to be that guy, if you've been to any of the live events in the last 2 years, you probably don't need any of these.
Yeah. And actually, there's one other thing I'll add into this, is that Tyrant is a Northern Hemisphere nesting Pokemon. I hope to God, to Arceus, that they don't take it out of the nest pool for this event, because if they do, that's a massive middle finger to the players.
Well, it is, but it wouldn't be the first time that they have done
sadly.
that. Yeah. So field research task rewards, they don't get a lot better. However, if you don't want to hatch eggs, you do have some potential here. First up, Dunsparce.
Then we actually have a fossil of Lileep.
Another one in Anorith.
Another one in Cranidos.
Another one in Shieldon.
Then not another one in Roggenrola.
Or Drilber.
Tortuga is.
So is Archon.
Bunnelby firmly isn't.
I'm not going to diss this one because the blue boy everyone loves, Tyrant.
And some people like the white shiny of Amora.
Yeah. And Mega Aerodactyl Energy is the last reward. Just what we all needed.
It's free.
It's
free Mega Energy. It's probably going to make you power up Pokemon. Bear that in mind.
There is something that isn't free. There's going to be some paid, timed research. No surprise there. So for $2 US or the equivalent in your local currency, actually, it kind of pays for itself. You get 2 incubators, 1 super incubator, and encounters with an S, so plural, more than one, with event-themed Pokemon. So realistically, one of each of the fossils.
I hope so. I hope it's a 2-page spread like we've had previously. But as paid tickets go, looking at how this year has panned out, that is quite a stingy $2. That's like if you looked at the box value of that in the shop, you go, nah, not a good discount.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you are getting more than your value, but not by
substantially.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
And as any event has these days, you've got collection challenges and Pokestop showcases. What they're going to be for, we have no idea, because there's no new Pokemon or new shiny featured in this event.
There isn't, but let's just basically take a look at this. It's probably going to evolve, powering Pokemon up and evolving them. 2 things which I hate because it wastes resources.
Yes. For the collection challenge, you will receive some Stardust encounters. So there might be more than one. There's going to be more than one collection challenge. Probably very like the Ultra Unlock 2 that we're experiencing as of the current time. And some Mega Aerodactyl Energy too. But we're not going to talk too much about this. We'll talk about it mostly next week, I think, Vasa, when we're kind of gearing up for it.
I think so. And next week we'll give a full rundown on August's events and content.
100%. But just very quickly, is that not the weakest adventure week in its event existence?
Well, it's definitely Adventure Week, but with an A.
We did that before, I think.
We've done that before. That's the news, but we're bringing something back that we've not featured for a minute.
They'll be featuring the 3 Musketeers.
That kind of works, yes.
It does kind of work. We've decided to return with the Counter Bros because, well, we did talk about this legendary probably 2 or 3 years ago, but we realised that many of you probably won't scroll back to whichever episode it was featured in. So
it dawned on us, didn't it? Yes.
We're going to try and make this a bit more of a common section in the shows, moving on forward. But we're not starting off with, the best thing in the world, because the raid boss that popped into raids today and will be around for another week or so when you listen to this show is going to be on cloud floaty form Terrible Tornadus,
otherwise known as incarnate form.
Yes, the incarnate
Tornadus.
Tornadus, exactly. And this thing, we urge you not to bother raiding it at all. But boys, shall we talk through what you might want to take in versus it if you find yourself with a free raid pass for the day?
So incarnate form Tornadus For the 100% of this mon, you'll be looking for 1911 CP at level 20. Or if you want the weather boosted one, it will be 2389.
Ooh. Looking at best counters, let's look at a Mega. You can use Mega Diancie, and that's got the double rock move, rock throw, and rock
Nice.
slide as a possible Mega option. I appreciate you'll all probably only got one of those, so let's hope it's a good one.
If it's powered up.
Yeah.
One that people might have some of because we had those controversial elite raids for them. Mega Rayquaza is something hysterically that you can use just because of how powerful it is in terms of DPS. Dragon Tail and Dragon Ascent, even though Dragon Ascent is a flying type and Tornadus is a flying type, you can still output some damage.
Output some damage. That's a term for us there. I'm going to throw in a Shadow, and I mean, it's not top tier by any means, but I actually love it. Shadow Raikou with Thundershock and Wild Charge is a pretty solid counter for this bad boy.
I'm going to throw in a mighty powerhouse of a Shadow Pokemon. Yeah, Shadow Rampardos, I'm only joking. Shadow Mewtwo, even though Rampardos is in there. Mewtwo with Psycho Cut and Thunderbolt as its charge move. Pretty cool.
Juicy. One of the Pokemon that you probably got maybe some of because of the Global Go Fest, Xurkitree is an absolute beast of an electric type. You need Thundershock and Discharge. It's a very quick fire charge move, and it's really, really high up there. Honestly, one of the best electric Pokemon available.
It really is, and if we're actually going to move away from Megas and Shadows, it comes quite far down the list. There's so many Megas and Shadows that are effective against this, but if you're just looking for a bog standard Pokemon that you may actually have in your decks, Rampardos with Smackdown Rock Slide is a good choice.
Yeah, let's go to some traditional ones now. Ones that I'm sure you've all got one or two of them kicking around in your storage. Rhyperior is also in there, notable mention, with the moves Smackdown and Rock Wrecker. Double rock moves there.
And I like a more budget counter to maybe say if you don't have top tier legendaries and shadows, etc. Magnezone is still a pretty decent pick with Spark and Wild Charge on it. And yeah, you need a magnetic lure to get that thing evolved, but Magnemite, you can find it.
You can, and let's just do one more each. I'm just going to throw one because I quite like it actually. Darmanitan, the Galarian standard form with Ice Fang Avalanche.
I generally thought Milo was on about throwing a Magneton in there on its own. Just go on, little Magneton.
I choose you, Magneton.
I choose you. No. I think it's quite a fancy looking Pokemon actually, and maybe a lot of people won't have it. But Baxcalibur is also in there, and you want to be looking at the double ice move for that one. Ice Fang and Avalanche.
And my final pick is going to be a bit of a troll. If you feel like being that person who takes an Aggron into a raid, you can use the shadow form of it. Make sure you have Smackdown and Meteor Beam, and that shadow beast will definitely see you through.
So there you
don't
go.
bring that in.
Yeah, I think you're pretty much set now to go out and whack the Tornadus.
Whack a Tornadus.
Whack a Tornadus.
Right,
In fact, Tornadus, natural disaster. Did you see the line of thinking there? Parallel thinking
Very
with my
good,
question
Vassafal.
earlier.
I see what you did there.
But last week when Zoe was with us, the smug git in the corner managed to win the game by default. So
Yeah, it
by
wasn't my
default,
fault.
Whitfield is the game lord. What you whipped up for us this week, my old sunshine?
What is the appropriate word?
Oh no.
What's the Ducklett?
Brilliant.
So we're going to rock and roll because I have a few more written on my notes from the flight over to New York. We played this. Palkia, you picked that one. I thought that was quite clever.
Was a good one. Yes.
But what the Ducklett, we would have back in the day just said, this is the Pokédex description. And I've read it out, and the guys have had to guess, quick fire, what it is. Now it's a cryptic word clue to do with the Pokemon's name. It gives you very little information and detail. So we're going to play first to two on this front, and they may provoke some silence. They may not. So we'll see how we do, boys.
Silence will be filled by awkward cricket sounds, I'm sure.
Awkward cricket sounds, or it will be cut in entirely. So where do we go with this? So a lot of these we did on the live show in New York, which people enjoyed.
So I love this guy. I love it. Milo's putting that little precursor in, which people enjoyed.
It's
fun.
said. It was said on the show. So, boys, obviously this is completely a load of rubbish, but this Pokemon is a toupee rental service.
Wiglet.
Correct.
Which one of us got it first, though? Because
Yeah, we both said it at the same time.
I think Ian was slightly ahead
No,
there,
he-
but we'll have to double check.
He always is slightly ahead.
What did
Always-
the chat think? Who won that one? Tiny bit ahead was Ian.
Oh,
Now, we were talking by a hair, but yeah, well done, boys. Ian gets a point. Mark gets a quarter of a point.
well done, Ian. We'll listen to the edit. It'll be changed in the edit now. You won't.
It won't.
It'll be Ian going Wiglet and me going look.
It's actually that's how the show ends. Is Mark's answer.
Well done, Ian.
Right. Okay. This Pokemon sounds like a retreating sheep.
Abra.
Incorrect, I'm afraid.
Retreating sheep.
If you have an idea, throw it out there.
Barnacle. Oh, that's not a Pokemon.
Barnacle.
Barnacle. What?
Double.
Oh, well done, Ian.
It's not a dubstep sheep.
Oh.
It might be. Excalibur.
A sheep that's retreating and it sounds like it. Think about the sound a sheep makes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
thinking.
a
yeah.
Pokemon that maybe begins with that sort of phonics sound. If you have one more guess each, and I'll give you a proper clue.
I don't know, because you just said the first clue again in
Yeah.
basic language.
Yeah. I was waiting for a second clue then.
Oh, Bagon.
Oh,
Correct.
Well,
I
So,
can't. No, you can't. Yeah, I super that in the chat. I just literally saw it by mistake.
Oh,
what was that?
I
Oh,
can't take
Vasa.
that point. Yeah, I can't take that point.
I've
so
got
you were
chat
looking.
on.
You
I'll
were
just
looking
read
at
the
the
chat.
chat.
Oh, that's a shame because I thought you got
I'm going
that.
to turn
then.
my chat off just for the game. Actually, turn my chat off. Yeah.
Vasa. That was
It's
a
all right,
really
it's
good
because-
one wasted. Oh, in that case, Marky wins
Yeah, give Mark the point for default. Yeah.
by default because Ian cheated, even
I
if it
didn't
was
cheat.
by
I just
accident.
read what was in front of me.
Well,
It's nice that the audience plays along.
I just read the name of a Pokemon when we're playing a
Again,
Pokemon
Who
game.
said it
during
in the
games,
chat?
We should turn our chats
Okay, well,
off,
this
so.
is good. It means it's first to 2, 1 point each. Technically, 1.25 points for Mark.
So I feel like I've cheated this now. I didn't cheat.
So, for the win, boys, this Pokemon is a king of comedy.
Tim Allen.
Is that a wordplay on timber?
Eddie
No, I'm
Murphy.
afraid
Chris
incorrect.
Rock.
King of comedy.
Now, we do need a Pokemon name in.
King of comedy.
Let's be more specific. A knight of comedy. A knight of the realm of comedy.
Sir Fetched.
Ooh.
Close, but incorrect.
Oh.
But I'm going to think of a description for that Pokemon now.
Far-fetched.
Incorrect, I'm afraid. Would you like a
Yes.
clue of sorts?
Yes, please.
So this Pokemon is from Generation 3.
Oh, it doesn't help me. I don't know
And
what Pokemon
I'm trying to think of a
Gen
clue that won't give it away entirely.
3. It's a king of comedy. So the Pokemon's a king of comedy.
Let's say a knight of the realm of comedy, because king could be misleading, but that's me being an idiot. This is it's a bug water type Pokemon from Generation 3.
Sizer.
Incorrect. It begins with S.
Sceptile.
Spinnerack.
Okay. The
Swaddle.
I wish, but incorrect, I'm afraid. The play on comedy, think of you have a short comedy.
Surskit.
Correct.
Well done, Ian.
Surskit, the knight of the realm of Pokemon comedy, right there.
That's clever. Skit. Yeah, I like that.
There we
That's
go.
clever. That's a good one, that is.
So, taking the dub after a bit of a flummoxed round 2 is Vasa himself.
And when you listen to it, there'll be none of all those silence and pauses, and Ian would have got it within 3 guesses, and would have all gone, that was amazing.
Yeah, we'll have all moved on with our lives very quickly. But fantastic. Well, it means, listeners, you won't be hearing that game again for a fairly long time, because Vasa, I hope, is going to pull out something different with whatever's been done. But lovely work, boys. There were some good guesses in there.
That was fun. I like that. Well done, Milo. That was fun.
Hashtag fun. They weren't ratatata.
I loved it even when I kept saying it, like, it works.
Ratatatata.
I like that. I'm pleased we won't have to see it again, but well done
Until I
winning
win
that
again.
one. Now we're going to move on to a quick chat, and we will be scoring the Better Together event, which was the first Ultra Unlock. Well, it's been and gone now, and we've got 2 more of those little jockers to enjoy, which we'll see out the rest of the month-ish. So,
the rest of the, well, actually, they're finished pretty much now. Just the third one's already happened.
oh, but it hasn't as we record this. So, so it's weird, isn't it? But we'll talk about it. They've gone by the time you listen to it. But the Better Together event was fun. It brought a brand new Pokemon, which we feared when we first spoke about this event, that it would be locked between or behind party play. That wasn't the case, so that was very nice. Sorry, I mean nice. It had the boosted candies on the event, which was nice, wasn't it? We like that.
Nice.
Brilliant. And we had the XP, which we spoke about, which overlapped the community day. Did I enjoy the event? Yes, I did. Is Tynamo the cutest Pokemon the game has ever seen? Yes. Do we like the fact it's got probably the rarest evolution mechanic seen in Pokemon Go so far? We probably are not happy with that, but if we get it, it makes it more rewarding. And I think the question that remains unanswered now is, where does Tynamo now feature in the game now the event has finished? And I think it might be a party play exclusive Pokemon. Don't know yet, but I feel like Tynamo will be one of those Pokemon which will stay in the game, but through a different mechanic. When we spoke about this with Zoe, we were quite excited, weren't we? I was sceptical if we were going to find it so easily, but my feedback on it, I went out most evenings. I certainly took advantage of removing the scan task, so I could do 2 complete loops each day and get the benefit of potentially additional tasks that I couldn't do for the first walk around. So as I'm playing on my own, I can't trade Pokemon. A little bit sad, really, which that was a guaranteed Tynamo encounter. However, I did find the Spin 5 Pokestops fairly common. Not everywhere, but there was enough of them to make the walk pleasurable. But I also found that the other research tasks, power Pokemon 10 times, catch 10 Pokemon, power Pokemon 5 times, those ones send gifts send 2 gifts to friends, 1 in 3 chance, and I was getting one probably 1 in 3. So you can't really argue with that one. I'm saving all my evolutions anyway for a rainy day, but I was pleased with it, enjoyed it. It got me out wanting to complete research tasks and also save onto my 10 CP Tynamos. And Ian will know why. But guys, what were your thoughts on it?
So yeah, I was a bit skeptical perhaps about how frequently it would be featured in the event, given it was kind of more pushed in the article of being in party play and the research task. It looked like it was lumped in with a bunch of other stuff. Having played it, for an event that said better together, it was probably better to play solo, because I did do the party play stuff for the first day, and I've got to say, it just made that feature feel so obsolete compared to how it was for Go Fest. When you have a new Pokemon, the frequency of which that Pokemon appeared in the tasks was so tiny. I did party play, and people say, "Oh, reset the party, keep resetting the party until you get a challenge that you're happy with." Well, when you keep getting challenges that say spin 10 stops for 5 raspberries, and there were no encounters, and you had to go through the whole thing of like gearing the party play up so you did more challenges together to then get an encounter, but then you found the encounter you were getting was a coughing or something else.
So GoFest, there wasn't. You was getting chances.
I wasn't. Almost every task I did in the party play gave me a Pikachu. I think I had 1 Diglett. That was it. So amazingly, for a Pokemon where they were like, "Oh, we can put it in party play," it really didn't feature in party play at all. So after doing a bit of like grind on day 1, I didn't touch the party play feature at all ever again. Mark's right. The research tasks were definitely the way to go. And I did find myself getting a lot of Tandemals from those tasks, even if they had other Pokemon in them. And to be honest, the other Pokemon you got from them weren't exactly the worst in the world. You can get yourself you get both forms of Darumaka, which was nice, the Galarian one and the Unovan one. Very good picks. And there were some other dust-boosted ones like Combi in there, so not the worst things in the world. I got the Hundo Tandemaus from the special research. Very nice. And it evolved, obviously, into a family of 4. I've yet to try and get the family of 3, despite pineapping and having a Megaron to get as much candy as possible when finding a Tandemaus catch. I think I've evolved 21 of them. Not had the family of 3 yet, but it's something to kind of chase. Again, not really sure where it is in the game now. Is it locked into a random field research task? Will it come back in August in a different field research task for the monthly rotation? Perhaps.
Nice little fields. Makes sense.
Fingers crossed. Probably like explore 2 kilometers. Walk your field research task for 2 kilometers. Something along those lines. But the other thing I liked about the event was actually the spawns. The spawns were a really, really nice mix with some perma-boosted ones available. And
talk about that in a bit, actually. That's a good shout,
I thought it was really, really nice. There were tons of perma-boosted shinies in there that people could get, and I was very happy to have picked up a couple of Clink and Galarian Meowth, and the last catch of the event was a Nundo Galarian Meowth that was at my house spawns, which was kind of wild.
Nice.
So a nice catch indeed. But I thoroughly enjoyed this event. I liked the lots of different aspects of it, and it was probably came out better than it looked on paper, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it had pretty much what people wanted. It had good chances of getting shinies. It had new Pokemon. It had, as Mark said, Tandemaus is gorgeously cute little Pokemon. It had a lot to chase, and it had what you wanted kind of readily and easily available. Didn't have the luxury of playing it anywhere nearly as much as you two. I didn't encounter a single shiny throughout the whole event, despite checking every Galarian Meowth, which I still need, and every Clink that I still need. And I think I ended with about a dozen Tandemaus. I've evolved 1, which was the family of 4. Did get a 93%. I can't quite flex the Hundo like Whitfield, but 93% isn't bad. And I can't really add a lot more without repeating what you two have said. The tasks were easy enough to get. There was a chance of getting the Tandemaus in every task, but RNG just wasn't on my side, and that probably comes down to the fact that you two quite obviously put a lot more time into it than I did, because my working day won't allow it.
Well, neither does mine. I just do it in the evenings.
Didn't. When I came home in the evening, I was either editing or I didn't have the time. I'm not making an excuse. I just didn't have the time to play in the evenings.
Well, that's probably more realistic of how the vast majority of people play, really, considering most of the event was over a week, standard working days, and then one of the days of the weekend was taken up with a community day.
That's the thing, though. Like you said, it's like I was frantically getting out there at lunchtime before community day to do the research tasks before they changed.
I'd love a lunchtime actually at work.
No, that was on Saturday.
Oh.
That was community day was Sunday, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sunday. Yeah. No, I said I probably played about 45 minutes a day on the event over it, which was enough to do a couple of laps around the town. I did it in the evenings, did them between sort of 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. 16 shinies, Sue. Very nice. Was that Sue that said
There
that?
was Sue, yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
A lot of shinies.
Should we score this event then, boys?
Yeah, let's give it a
I think we
rating.
should. Yeah.
I'll start because I gave the review at the beginning. I'm going to give it a point for every shiny I got during it because I had insane shiny luck on this event, and I got my Galarian Shiny Meowth level 1, first one I've ever
beautiful.
had. So
Nice.
I was very happy with that. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. Really enjoy it, and I'm hoping I get the little free family mousehold. That'll be a lovely way to end it all. But yeah, one of the better in-event play than on paper, definitely.
Yeah, I got to agree with that, to be honest. It performed better in practice than it looked on paper. I would give it an 8 out of 10 for every shiny, but I got 7 shinies. But I'll whack an extra point on there for 2 Hundo Tandemaus. So we'll go for an 8 out of 10 as well.
Oh, we're getting a second Hundo Tandemaus now, are we?
Yeah, research was good to me.
I got 298 that it taunted me. I didn't get the Hundo.
So I'm not bitter. And despite my lack of any sort of success compared to you two on this event, I'm not going to let that taint my score. The event was good. I wouldn't quite call it ultra, but it was good. It gave us everything that it promised it was going to give us.
Great.
And I too will give it an 8 because you know what? It had pretty much what we wanted in the event.
Lovely. We'll have to see if the shiny Todger Ultra Unlock can compete with that.
I hope that they do what they've done with the Todger. And I reckon August will get a Tandem Mouse Spotlight Hour.
Can we have a Tandem Mouse Research Day?
Oh, I've researched Tandem Mouse Spotlight Hour.
Tandem Mouse Spotlight Hour.
But do you know what? They might. It's like
Nothing is beyond the realm of reason.
It's the only non-shiny Spotlight Hour I'd play.
Just farm the candy. Farm the candy up and up and up. Because, yeah, still trying to get that family of 3.
We're not all great. We're not all winners of the game, are we, Sue? I'm missing a mouse. I keep getting families of 3. I want my family of 4.
That's the family of 4 one.
So we're getting to the end of this week's show, and we were brainstorming. Can you say that anymore? I don't know. We was talking about what we could actually do to get you guys involved. So we figured, let's shout out some birthdays. Whitfield, introduce us to Birthday Corner.
That's a long jingle. Oh my goodness me.
That's 6 seconds.
Like, happy birthday.
We have game
to
jingles that are less than that. Oh my goodness me. Yeah, we thought it would be quite a nice little section to throw into the shows and basically say a very happy birthday to whoever happens to be replying. We're putting posts out on X, and we've got one in this week, which we can say a very happy birthday to Julia Glass or Mama Glass, whose birthday was back on July the 14th. So that was a global Go Fest birthday. I bet there was some birthday shiny luck on that one. So yeah, a very happy birthday for what would have been a couple of weeks ago at this point.
And that is Birthday Corner. So please tag us on Threads, X, Instagram, the usual fare with your birthday, and we will shout them out as the weeks progress. But speaking of weeks progressing, we need to find out what natural disaster we all want to be stuck in. It's time for the result of the Incensed poll.
Yeah, so the boys, that's us, we shared which type of natural disaster we would like to be present during, and we put those answers to the poll. And I asked the question, which of these would you chance your hand at? With a little inquisitive little face. As usual, please vote, repost, and comment. We'll jump straight into the results. So my choice was 3rd place. So I get it, because tsunamis and earthquakes are probably the ones you probably can't really get away from. They're quite in your face. You can't sit in a hotel room and watch a tsunami come at you and go, oh, I think I'll be okay. It's waterproof
I'll get
glass.
the deck chair out.
Get the deck chair out. But that scored 20%. So there are 20% of you out there that want an extreme sporting event. That is the one that we
James Bond surfed a tsunami.
Yeah.
The other day.
You know, if I had to pick, I would have probably gone tornado route. I like the idea of that. I like to chase them around open areas of land. Well, with 34% of you also agreed that tornado would be something that you would
and
like
we actually
to
get them in the UK, the little micro tornadoes.
mini tornadoes.
Yeah.
We had one when I used to live in Northamptonshire. We actually had one go for our gardening.
I remember you saying.
Story.
I think that's why the tree in the jingle fell over.
Yes.
Freaked it. Oh, it was so random. But the winner with 46%, and it does say that most people would like to do this whilst wearing the Vision Pros, so that's a bit of a cop out. Volcano.
It's a digital volcano eruption.
Oh, look, I'm walking the lava. It doesn't hurt me.
I'm secretly in the Apple Store in New York.
Actually, I'm just looking at comments. Kiwi Steve's got Dr. Evil, liquid hot magma.
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 Volcano seems the least unsafe option since you can watch from a distance.
Charlie Todd's hit the nail on the head there. To me, the volcano seems to be the only controlled one. You can stand afar and see it happen. The rest you can't really be viewing safely.
I've just seen Rigsy, aka Galarian Guy, has put Tsunami Catch Challenge for the next Squirtle Community Day.
4.0.
Lucy Davis says, ideally none, but I choose volcanoes
Yes.
to see it erupt from a safe distance. William Hill says, Eddie Howe is currently the favourite to replace that Gareth Southgate as England manager.
Good old sponsored posts.
Fantastic.
Oh dear. Well, there is The poll. Yeah, I think that was a great question, actually, Ian. I thought it was all out of our comfort zones.
You always
I think
discount my
that's,
questions, but they always
No.
have a deeper
love you.
meaning. But
Magma.
magma. Oh, come on. You've not done it yet, have you? Oh, no.
No, we'll get to the end. Don't worry.
Yes, yeah. So that's it, boys. We are at the end of episode 181 of Incensed Podcast. So thank you very much for listening. We do appreciate each and every one of you that puts us in your ears on a weekly basis. But for those of you that do support the podcast monetarily through Patreon, we'd like to thank each and every one of you that are on our silver and bronze tiers. We really do appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for pledging to our Patreon. For those of you that are on our gold tariff, equally, you are just as valued, but we do like to call you out by name. So to the following people: Sean McKay, Mandy Croft, Highbone, Barside 2, Mufti, Apex 171, Connor Lee, Kerry and Zachary, Darby Ross, Clifford Mert, and JB. We thank you so very much for being our
Gold
members. And
members.
yeah, it is very much appreciated. You get to see the live carnage that ensues every Tuesday when we record. Two more thank yous that we can't forget. Our fabulous admins of the podcast. Incensed Podcast is more than just the three of us. We do have a backstage team, and that comprises of Hermes Ninja and I Am Prius. Thank you so very much for everything you do for us and keeping the socials running, amongst other things. And before we go, just one last reminder that if you are not currently doing so, hit that plus or subscribe or follow button on your podcast platform of choice. That way, each and every week, you'll get a fresh episode coming straight to your device, shall we say. That way, you don't need to search and download each episode. If you don't currently follow us on Threads, if you don't currently follow us on Instagram, if you don't currently follow us on X, please ensure that you do. That way, you can keep up to date with all of our ongoings, questions, polls, and good stuff there. And that is going to get us to the end of this week's show.
But wait there, boys. Great news.
What?
Well, on July the 30th, not only do we have 2 times Catch Stardust, but we also have a shiny Todger hunt for Spotlight Hour. And that won't require you visiting a branch of Ann Summers.
That is one Spotlight Hour I think I would love to be able to take part in.
Sparkly Todger.
And on that bombshell, we'll catch you next week. Thanks for listening.